everyone. It's so wonderful to be back at another Disferlin conference. Special thanks to the Jan family and foundation for making this possible. Let me go ahead and warn you, I'm still not a public speaker and I'm also 6 months pregnant. So I will try very hard to keep my emotions in check, but I can't make any promises. As Esther said, my name is Bliss Welch. Before diving into my medical journey with limb-girdle muscular dystrophy, I would like to give you a little background information about myself. I come from a very close-knit family whom I would be completely lost without. I'm pretty sure I told y'all at the 2009 conference that I truly believe everything is better in pink. With that being said, my husband Jeremy and I are tickled pink about our baby girl that is due to arrive in October. I am employed full-time with Eagle Bluff Golf Course, where I am the general manager. I also take night classes towards a master's degree in accounting. Twice a week, I attend physical therapy in hopes to help maintain my strength. Each of these tasks come with their own set of challenges thanks to the muscular dystrophy. But at the end of the day, it's very gratifying to know that I was able to come out on top once again. I may have a disability, but I'm not disabled. I was 16 years old during the fall of 1997, and this is when I first noticed I was having difficulty with certain physical tasks. I was a junior in high school and was enrolled in a step aerobics class. I can remember thinking, wow, this little bit of workout should not be so hard. I just assumed that I was out of shape and needed a little less socializing in my life and a little more exercise. I didn't worry much about it until my aerobics instructor came to me with concerns about my physical abilities. Our class was required to run a timed mile. It took me several minutes longer than my other classmates to finish. This, coupled with the struggles during the step aerobics routine and a tendency to lock my legs while walking, marked the beginning of my medical journey. In a matter of 2 short months, 3 specialists saw me: an orthopedic surgeon, a neurologist, and a rheumatologist. During this time frame, I endured several tests and procedures ranging from blood work, x-rays, an EMG, and a muscle biopsy of my right quad. My CPK levels were of great concern to all of my doctors. When monitored, they would range from 10,000 to almost 12,000. This was very alarming since the normal range is less than 100. Through all of the doctor visits and medical tests, I was still able to maintain a normal teenage lifestyle. I went to school, hung out with my friends, and worked part-time as a waitress. My physical struggles during this time consisted of difficulty climbing steps, standing for long periods, locking my legs when walking, and rising from a squatting position. In February of 1998, I turned 17. This month, for my birthday, I received a diagnosis of polymyositis from my rheumatologist. The next 12 months entailed contact with at least 7 other doctors across the eastern seaboard for suggestions on treatment options and confirmation on my polymyositis diagnosis. There were several different combinations of drug therapies that I tried over the course of the year. These ranged from high doses of prednisone and methotrexate and Imuran. Of course, the medical tests continued. I had multiple MRIs, a repeat muscle biopsy of my left quad, more x-rays, and enough blood work to last a couple of lifetimes. Sadly, all of this did affect my teenage lifestyle. The prednisone caused steroid-induced myopathy. By the summer of 1998, my physical abilities became very limited. The weakness became so severe I was forced to use a wheelchair. My arms had become so weak I had grave difficulty lifting them to wash my hair. The prednisone also caused my weight to jump from just under 100 pounds to over 160 pounds in a matter of just a few short months. Because of all these factors, I was homeschooled for my senior year of high school. By February of 1999, all the drugs had finally taken their toll on me physically and emotionally. I decided for my 18th birthday, enough was enough, and I was done. For the past year, I had endured everything the doctors had thrown at me. Nothing was helping. I wanted all of the medication to cease immediately. Once weaned off all the meds, I started to feel better and regain my strength. I began physical therapy to help return to normal activities. After a few months, I began light workouts at the gym on my own. I was able to regain much of my strength. Walking, climbing stairs with the assistance of a handrail, and rising from low surfaces were all things I was once again able to do. Even though I was homeschooled, I walked the stage at high school graduation with my classmates. The lull in medication did not last long. During the spring and summer, we tried gamma globulin, IVIG treatments, and Plaquenil. None of the courses of treatment showed any lasting change. By the fall of 1999, I was off all medicine. The remainder of the year and through 2000, I did not pursue further treatment. I felt much better being off the meds and had regained most of my physical activity. I had not given up hope, I was just done being a guinea pig. In 2000, I had normal follow-up doctor appointments, occasional blood work, and an MRI. My mother diligently searched for a doctor who could give us answers. In October of 2000, after my muscle biopsy slides were sent across the country, I was contacted by Dr. Eric Hoffman with Children's Hospital in Washington, D.C. Dr. Hoffman reviewed my slides and informed me that my diagnosis of polymyositis was incorrect. I, in fact, was dysferlin deficient. My family and I, of course, had no clue what dysferlin was. In December 2000, we traveled to Washington, D.C. to meet Dr. Hoffman and tour his lab. Dr. Hoffman was able to explain to me what dysferlin was and its function in the body, but there wasn't much known about what the future would hold for me. Having a proper diagnosis was a relief until realizing there was hardly any information available on dysferlin. I was referred to Dr. Robert Brown in Boston, who was involved in some research regarding dysferlin. I traveled to Boston once in 2001 and again in 2002 for a clinical appointment and a tour of Dr. Brown's lab. Although Dr. Brown shared with me what was known about the function of dysferlin, there still wasn't much to share on how my life would unfold physically. From years 2000 to 2006, age range 19 to 25, I was very active and led an almost completely normal physical lifestyle. I attended college and received a bachelor's degree in business. At one time, I held down 3 part-time jobs and ran my own business for over a year. Traveling was something that I did at least once or twice a year. I was still able to walk and only required the assistance of a wheelchair for long distances or crowded events. Stairs slowly became unmanageable, but there was always someone willing to put me on their back to get me where I needed to go. In 2005, at the age of 24, my father walked me down the aisle where I married my best friend and the man of my dreams. This was also the year I was first put in touch with the Jan Foundation. Being a registered patient with the foundation has expanded my knowledge of dysferlin exponentially. Thanks to the foundation, I was now aware of what was going on within my body on a molecular level. By this time, I required assistance rising from standard height chairs, and my balance was very bad. I started physical therapy visits 3 times a week, and still to this day attend physical therapy every week. We finally decided by the end of 2006 that I needed a power wheelchair for all activities outside of the house. I no longer wanted to take the risk of falling and breaking any bones. Looking back, we probably should have gotten me in a wheelchair sooner, but that little thing called pride always seems to get in the way. From the age of 26 to 28, during 2007 through 2009, the only doctor contact I had was with my rheumatologist. I realize a neurologist is whom I should be seeing, but all the ones I saw in my hometown had never heard of my diagnosis. These appointments were spent with me educating the doctor and walking away with zero medical input. My rheumatologist has been with me since almost day one and is up to date on my condition. Plus, I now knew if there was any late-breaking information I needed to know, the foundation would be the first to inform me. Unfortunately, my weakness continued to progress. I used only my wheelchair outside of the house. At home, I was still walking. We had to switch over to bar height tables and chairs as I could use them with zero assistance. Other small modifications were made so I could be completely independent for as long as possible. Shortly after turning 29 in 2010, my husband and I got a new kitten. At this point, I started using the wheelchair in the house. My excuse was I did not trust the kitten to stay out from under my feet. The reality was I should have been using a wheelchair full-time for months, but that little pride issue we discussed earlier got in the way once again. I have to admit, my life was so much easier once I started using the wheelchair full-time. I regained a lot of my independence back within the house. During my physical therapy sessions, we would still work on standing and walking exercises with the hopes to hold on to those abilities as long as possible. At the beginning of this year, I turned 30. I know, it's still hard for even me to believe. The new decade has already brought along several new life-changing events. My husband and I moved into a new house we built for me and my special needs. It has been quite an adjustment, but we have just about got all the kinks worked out. In February, we found out that I was pregnant with our first child. Currently, I'm 6 months along and I have not yet had to make any drastic changes to my daily routines. I know in the next few months, life is subject to be turned upside down, and I look forward to meeting all the new challenges that lie ahead. Since the beginning of my journey with limb-girdle muscular dystrophy in 1997, the knowledge and understanding of dysferlin has grown leaps and bounds. As you are all well aware, there are still many hurdles to overcome before the finish line of a treatment or cure is reached. With that being said, I know without a shadow of a doubt that when the finish line is reached, each person in this room today will be able to say, I played a key role in making that happen. It is truly humbling to be a part of this journey with each of you. Knowing so many of you are working every day in your labs and clinics and offices is what helps keep a smile on my face when things get hard. And once again, I would like to give a special thanks to the Foundation. Because of you, I now have high hopes for a bright and promising future.